question. So we turn the video back on for this question. The question was, what's the significance of these diagrams? Well, they come from the restricted domain of the original function, but how they're going to show up for you is when you use inverse trig, your calculator is only going to be able to give you an answer in each of these ranges depending on the function. For example, let's do one. In your calculator, type in the inverse cosine of 1. The inverse cosine, well, the inverse cosine of 1. That's good. Nope, on your home screen. Home screen, inverse cosine of 1, second function cosine of 1. So when you type in, second cosine 1, what you're doing is the inverse cosine of 1. Type that into your calculator on the home screen. And if, what does that mean? Let me put the cosine curve back up here. So if we didn't have any restrictions, right, there'd be an infinite number of places that have a cosine ratio of 1. Every time the cosine curve gets to its maximum, it's equaling 1. So here it equals 1, here it equals 1, down here it would equal 1, and same thing in the other direction. But when you use your calculator with the inverse cosine, it's using these restrictions that are in place, so it's only going to give you an angle from here to here, and there's only one angle in that range where it equals 1. And what is it? Everybody's calculator should give you the same thing, 0. So the inverse cosine of 1 should equal 0. Now that makes sense because when the angle is 0, the cosine ratio is definitely equal to 1. But it's also equal to 1 at 2 pi, and negative 2 pi, and 4 pi, negative 8 pi. Why didn't they show up? Because we restricted the domain, and your calculator has those restrictions programmed into it. Okay? So that's what this is showing you. These are the only angles you're going to get when you use inverse trig on your calculator. And the only angles you're going to get when they want it to be a function.
So the output of the inverse of
Say it again?
the output of the inverse of the mean.
Yeah, here it is. For an inverse function, you input the ratio, and you get out the angle. Right? The ratios have to be between negative 1 and 1 inclusive for sine and cosine, but they can be anything for inverse tangent. Okay? Any other questions there? Thank you. All right.